Hi, it's Kaylin Shaner. How y'all doing tonight? Go ahead and comment. Same just as last time. Just tell me anything you want to say, ask me any questions. Today is my birthday, so yay, that's actually why I'm late. My family took me out to dinner and it ran a little late, so sorry, so sorry for any of you that was expecting me to go live at 8 o'clock. I was on the road, out of town, so I had to hurry back. Thank you for anyone tuning in now. I'm really excited about this video. I had a lot of fun with the last one, a good time, a lot of short story ideas. I did put a poll out there of some of the ideas that had been listed and talked about and joked about and everything in the comment section from the last video. And it seems the winner is the self-aware Dungeons and Dragons characters who know they're in the game, but they're still, at the whim of their players, and they can't do anything about it. They're in the game, but they're basically stuck, kind of like Sword Art Online, although, I don't know that I'll write in that their heads will explode if they try to quit the game. But yeah, so I'm gonna start that real soon, and then I'll post it on my page and tag all of you who had chit-chatted with me about that one. Should be a good time. Andrew Price actually suggested that particular short story, so I'll definitely tag him in that. But yeah, open forum here. Ask questions, make comments, short story ideas, all of that, whatever you want. Although this particular video is to celebrate more followers on my page. Thank you so much, you guys, for your support. It means a lot to me, but this one is for 200 likes. Last one was for 100. I just hit 218 this week, so thank you so much. But the biggest reason I'm super excited for this video is my novels were published in e-format, ebooks, Kindle, that on Amazon. I did that back in May, so go check that out under Kaylin Shaner. But as of this past month, I took those same novels that are published in ebook format, and they are now live and available for paperback. So if you're one of those people that you don't like reading on a screen and like the more traditional version of things, which I totally get, reading is reading and that's great, but sometimes you just want to have that physical copy. Sorry, I just got a comment. Give me one quick second. Space Truckers. Yes, we will discuss that later. Right now, Daniel-san, I actually have a reason for doing this video. It's open forum just like last time, but a little bit less so. But yeah, so this video is to celebrate 200 likes on my page, my birthday. Yay, happy birthday me. But yeah, the biggest reason I'm excited for this one is my paperbacks. So if you were interested in my book or just now hearing about my book and books, sorry, plural, there's 3 of them so far. I am working on a 4th one. But if you don't like reading on a Kindle or on your computer or your phone or whatever, and you're really not interested in the digital format, I did just publish my paperbacks. I do have some. I'm going to show you guys. I got some for myself, and I'm super excited about it. Now, these are a bit big. I had some issues with the margins and the gutter and everything. It would bleed off the page. So I hadn't quite yet, when I published these, figured out how to be able to make them smaller, like a standard book size, and thicker without it bleeding off the page. So these are, as someone recently told me, about the size, the width, the height, all of that of a college textbook, so I hear. But I did reformat them. I went back in and there's a second edition, and I took down the first edition, so you'll, like, when you're looking for the paperbacks, it will be the only option available will be the correct size. But I had to do a second edition because they wouldn't let me edit anything after I had already published them. But yeah, so the ones I'm going to show you are a little extra big. They're 8 by 10. And the ones after I fixed it and went in and reformatted, they are the standard size. The standard suggested size was 6 by 9. I still had issues with the margins in the gutter. Not nearly so bad as the first time I did fix it, but so they're just slightly bigger than 6 by 9. It's like 6 point something and 9 point something. So they are smaller than what I'm going to show you and thicker. So it will be like they're more bookshelf friendly now. These are rather tall and rather wide. So, but yes. So here we go. So excited. Y'all ready for this? This is the first one. Like I said, really big, not super thick, so they are condensed now. So if you would like to go buy a version, it is much more bookshelf friendly and reader friendly, but it will look like this. So Shifter Chronicles, that's, it is a series. There are 3 of them. I'm working on a 4th one. And I built this from scratch. The whole thing is, I wrote it all myself and edited it all myself. This picture I took myself. That's actually my hand, and a necklace of mine. That's my front yard. So this is my baby. I built the whole thing from the bottom up and designed it on Amazon. So yeah, this is all me. This is like my heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears. This is my baby. Yeah, so this is the first one, and anyone just joining now, they're the ones available on Amazon. I fixed them so they're smaller now, but this picture is fine. My pretty name. You got the description here and my bio. It's pretty much all the same as you would find on Amazon. But yeah, so basically it's just, if you don't like reading on a screen, we've got these. If you want to own a physical copy, this is great. So that's the first one. That's Shift. The new version, the new edition that I did after I edited them, does have the book number listed on them. When I showed these to friends and family, they were all like, "Oh, is this the first one?" No, that's the 3rd one. So the new ones are listed in order. I think it's real obvious on the title and the text of the cover. So that's the first one, Shift. This is the second one, Transform. Sorry. But yeah, so again, from the ground up, this is a picture I took. It's meant to be like she's in battle, things are intensifying, she's really finding her footing in her universe and her circumstances and stuff, and then really having to fight for what she believes in and what's important to her. So I got out my assault knife somebody bought me for protection reasons. I don't live in a particularly dangerous neighborhood, but I do have this just in case. But I got that out, and she's sort of clawing into the dirt as if someone had knocked her over in battle. They're going at it head to head, and she's on the ground, and she's like, she's digging in the ground. She's about to get back up and just go at it. So yeah, somebody asked me, like, why is she digging? It's just sort of like she's on the ground, and things are getting intense, and she's really just enraged and about to fight for her life. You can't really see it, especially with just the minor effects I added, but I did add water to it. The idea with these covers is that like it portrays her shape-shifting abilities as much as I could do with the basic stuff that I had available to me to make it look so. So going back to the first one, a necklace similar to this is in the books. It does play a minor role in the storyline, so there's that. And then if you can see, you got the graphs around her and stuff. She's just sort of relaxing in this one, and it's prior to all of her adventures. Like, she's just sort of taking it easy, and the real battle has not yet begun. I may have put a little bit. I mean, to you, it's just gonna look like a hand in the grass, but to me, you know, knowing all of the backstory, it's just kind of like she's daydreaming on a lazy day and just relaxed and stuff. But here you can see the flowers that, you know, obviously they're not growing out of my hand, but I did sort of lay them down to make it look like, you know, she's using her shape-shifting abilities to grow flowers and vines and stuff out of her arm and her flesh and stuff, which is something she can do in the books. She can shapeshift into any natural element, so not like plastic or anything, but like fire, water, plants, that kind of thing. So that is the idea here, that she's growing flowers out of her arms. You bought the book, Danny! Thank you for buying the book! Oh my gosh, you're the best! So exciting! Yeah, so that's awesome. So that one's got the flowers and stuff. It's a little more of a romantic theme, you know, everything's just getting started down her journey, and you know, it's not, I mean, the events in the book do obviously intensify. There is suspense build up and all of that, but I wanted the cover to portray like the very beginning of her story where, you know, shit hasn't hit the fan yet. So going back to this one, that's kind of where things are picking up, where, you know, she's really getting into the battles of her life, and, you know, mentally and physically, and so she's on the ground, and you know, she's been knocked down by life and by her enemies and everything, and she's just, you know, sort of holding on for dear life as she's, you know, lying face down in the dirt. So like the other one had flowers growing out of her hands, so I did use water in this one. It's kind of hard to see it with the minor effects that I did, but if you can see, like right here, like the dirt is turning into mud. My hand is super white. I'm crazy pale. My dad is Irish as they get. I mean, not like immigrated from Ireland, but the red hair, the tendency towards alcoholism, the short temper. I didn't get the red hair, but I got the pale skin and the freckles and the green eyes. But yeah, so obviously my hand is very pale in this picture, very blanched out. So you can't really see any detail on it standing out against it because it's basically just like a white blur. But there is water droplets on my hand, and that's just, I wanted to incorporate the elements and stuff that she can turn into. And then the third one, it's kind of one of my favorites. You know, I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, even if you just Google the books or go to Amazon and search them, you're gonna see the cover of the book, so you can kind of guess. She does have a royal heritage. It does play a part in her storyline that is revealed fairly early on. It is revealed in the first book, so by the time you get to the third book, it's just kind of common knowledge. So that's what the tiara is for. At the very bottom, you can see a little white blob that is not my finger that got, you know, in front of the lens, but that is a flame. I did experiment while taking this picture, but it was all very self-done. My photographer fell through, so these, I will probably experiment in the future and maybe do new covers, which would be awesome. But as of right now, it was literally a camera in, in one hand, taking a picture of the other, and all of these. So trying to get the angle just right and stuff, it was impossible to make it look like her hand was turning into fire. That was just not something I could accomplish on my own. I am going to go back and try to fix that and redo these. But for right now, I'm really happy with them. You know, for what they are, you know, a first trial run I think it's great. I think it turned out really nice. Can I have it autographed? Yes. Yes, I will just swing by Walmart one of these days, Danny, and then I will sign your books. Or book. Just, I'm assuming you just bought one, which is totally cool. I mean, I'm super grateful that you even bought one. That's amazing. Thank you. And if you like the first one, you know, don't feel pressured, but you know that the other two are available. Yeah, so this one, it's got the fire incorporated. Probably can't tell. That's okay. I'm working on it. And then things do get, I don't want to say political, but her background does come more into play. There are definitely some fighting sequences and stuff. But you know, the other ones are really heavy on the fighting stuff and the adventure style, and just all of that. And this is a little more her delving into the world of her background, the royalty, and you know, she's really not cut out for it. She wasn't raised that way. She didn't know about it beforehand, and she's gotten so used to just being this warrior of a person, and now she's a freaking princess, and like, what do I do? How do I operate in this world? How do I fight my enemies when they're all hiding behind masks, you know, metaphorically, and I can't just go up and shoot them at this point, you know. It's all very covert, and you know, just facing them wearing a dress and being all sneaky and stuff. So it does have more of a romantic flair to it. Relationship wise, you know, that there is romance in these books, but also just in the atmosphere, there is a little more glitz and glam. Like I said, there are fight sequences. It does build suspense, but definitely this is more of a beautified, you know, world that I've built in this third one. So it is in black and white. I've got, it doesn't show up too terribly well, but the golden like here, the golden strip, and the yellowish goldish over here lettering and stuff. So that is like a silver and gold. She's in this world of riches and stuff. This one does not have spine text. The new ones do. If you buy this book now, it will have spine text. It screwed me over on that when I was doing it. It was getting pissy about the font size, and it's not far away enough from the edge. You have to fix it. Okay, so I try to fix it, and it's still not happy with it, so I do it, you know, like 5 or 6 times, and then it just gets mad at me, and the box disappears, and I can't get it back. So yeah, there was no way to add spine text at that point, and I figured, you know what, I want it to go live. I'll just hit publish and see if, like, they got pissy when there was spine text on it, but it was just literally like a decimal point of imperfection. Let's see if they publish it without anything on it, because that's a massive imperfection in my opinion. And they did. So this was available for purchase for a couple of weeks, and they didn't say anything. So it is fixed now, but I'm vaguely annoyed with how that went down. But yeah, so this doesn't have spine text. And same deal. We've got the description, the bio. These do all have different pictures of my lovely, lovely face. But yeah, so all 3 novels are now available on paperback. Cool. That is super exciting. That is the biggest thing I wanted to share tonight. Super excited about that. I'm really taking this step by step and trying to go as far as I can with this, as far as putting myself out there and promoting myself, and you know, writing more, and I don't just want this to be a phase that I look back on in 10, 20 years and be like, oh, you remember those couple months I really got into this? Like, no, I want this to be, she started from nothing and slowly worked her way up to, okay, she wrote the books, and then she self-published the books, you know, on ebook, you know, e-format, that kind of thing. And then she made a Facebook page to self-promote herself, and, you know, started getting better at that and knowing what she was doing and growing that. And then she published Paperbacks, and this is really just building on what I've already done, and I'd like to get better and better at it. So that would be amazing that I can look back on this and really see how hard I worked. That you know, I was really at a point in my life when I started these, because I'd written these quite a while ago, and then just I had sent letters out to publishing companies, and you know, with a description of the book and stuff, and followed all of their guidelines and did it as perfectly as I could, and got very, very polite rejection letters from all of them, which I don't take it to mean, and I hope nobody watching this takes that to mean that they're bad books. You know, people have read these and told me they loved them. But you know, Harry Potter was rejected how many times, and it's frickin' Harry Potter. You know what I mean? So publishing companies, to give them the benefit of the doubt, they've got a lot to sift through. They really want to make safe bets. So they really can't take a risk on something that on the surface, because they only get like a paragraph or a couple of pages, depending on their guidelines that you have to follow, of what the book is actually about. So they really have to take the surface level of, you know, what they see and what it's about, and make a bet on it. You know, they're gonna buy your book, or, you know, put money into promoting this book, and are they gonna get their money back? That is the benefit of the doubt. That is the high road I choose to take. It is the truth. When I was going through it, it was very much like, well, screw you too. You know, going back to the Harry Potter thing, and that's not the only person, that's not the only book series that has happened to, until someone came along and was like, yeah, I'll take a bet on this, or I'll take a risk on this, and it paid off handsomely. And I'm sure there's ones where they did pick up the book and it stank and no one read it, and we've never heard about it. But, you know, in that moment, it's just like, well, you don't know what you're doing. There can be a bit a bitter edge to that one. But, you know, I get it. I don't like it. I get it. But here I am. They're published. I did do that myself, so that's awesome. But, yeah, so I wrote these a while ago and sent them into publishing companies and didn't get picked up, and then just let them sit on the shelf for a while, or more accurately, a flash drive, thumb drive. But, and didn't do it, and I went on with my life, you know. I got a job, made money, got my beautiful apartment. That is where I'm at in my life. Took a damn long road to get here, to have everything I have and be as confident in myself and stuff. And I finally reached a point where I've gotten myself settled, and this is not where I want things to end. This is not where I want my progress to end. I love writing. It's my passion. It's what I've always wanted to do. And because of some life events and life choices, several years ago, it just became one of those things where I didn't think it would ever go anywhere. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. It got put on the back burner. And now it's just like, no, I want to pursue this. This is my dream. I'm going to go after it with everything I've got. So it really has been starting from the bottom, starting from literally nothing but a thumb drive, and going to 218 followers and actual sales on Amazon, and having physical copies of my book, which at one point I thought would never happen. You know, dreamt about it, did not see it happening. But now I've got them there in my hands. I have them in my house. I'm so excited. That is really a dream come true, and hopefully I can build off of that and get more followers, get more sales, and write more short stories, get more followers on my blog, and write more novels, and hopefully you guys just fall in love with it and these characters in this world, and you want to follow more of their journey. The third one does cliffhanger, fair warning. And you want to know more, you want to see how it ends. And so yeah, that's really my goal, is to just keep pursuing this dream. Danny bought the first one and he's going to work his way through. That's great. That's the way normal people do it. I really only bought all three because they're mine, and I wanted a physical copy of all three. But yeah, so yeah, that's great. You don't have to like it. If you do, great. If you don't, there are other stories out there. Just keep reading, guys. But yeah, I don't have much else to say other than I really like doing these videos. I really like the interaction, and I have a lot to celebrate. Some days it feels slow going, like, oh, nothing's happened with this today or this week or whatever, and I'm not seeing any growth. But considering I just got up the courage to publish them in any format, in any way, back in May, and it's already, it's only October, and I've come this far already, which I get that, I'm not like a bestseller or anything. I'm not a big hit yet, and maybe someday, maybe I never will be. But that I've come this far in just the span of a few months. Some writers don't get this kind of traction for years. Back in the ye olden days, you could write a book that eventually they would teach in schools or whatever, and it would just be this cultural phenomenon, and everyone knows the name of it, even if they've never read it. And nothing's coming to mind specifically. I know I'm failing you guys. I'm sorry. But it's just the greatest thing ever written. But it doesn't get famous until after they die, and that happened with a lot of artists too. That they painted these wonderful paintings that ended up in the Louvre, but nobody heard about them until after they died. So, keeping that in mind, and granted, today we have the internet and all of this that just fast tracks and streamlines our entire life, in every facet. But even considering that, just knowing how long it's taken and how hard some people have fought to get the success that they did, the fact that I've grown, my business and my brand and all of that in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing to me. And all the thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for your support. And even if you don't have the money to buy the books right now, or you're interested, you read a short description on Facebook and you just hit the like button and thought, oh, I'll get to it later, or oh, I just want to support her, she's really trying. Just hit the like button. Costs you nothing, but I literally have to pay money to Facebook for strangers to see it. I only have so many Facebook friends, and of those, not everyone is going to like my page or my stuff or whatever. But so I do have to pour. It's not terribly, it's not like super expensive, but it is, out of every paycheck, I do set aside money and have to put money into Facebook, of all things, to promote this stuff. And it's still self-promotion as far as I'm concerned. I mean it is like, part of my concern when I started was, am I buying likes? Am I buying support? Is that something I'm comfortable with? But what it boils down to for me is that, I'm still writing and creating the posts that will draw people in. I'm still They're still my descriptions, my words, my pictures, you know, my videos, and putting myself out there. It's just paying money to expand the audience that will see it. And I'm not forcing you to hit the like button. I'm not putting a gun to your head that you have to like what I put out there in order to even hit that button. You know, so like I said, I was a little uncomfortable with it at first, but I don't think it's buying support. I don't think it's buying like so much as just, you know, investing in myself and getting my stuff out there. It still comes down to whether my work is quality work and whether people enjoy it and like it and want to support it, you know. That's the bottom line. So every time somebody hits that like button, it means the world to me. It costs you nothing. It takes, you know, a fraction of a second to do, and it really boosts my confidence and my exposure to the world and all of that. So just all of the thanks. Daniel says he's been thinking about writing. Well, Danny, what have you been thinking about writing? I would love to know if you would love to tell me. I love discussing stories with people. You know, I love discussing concepts. I love discussing characters and their development. I'm really into the whole, you know, action is great. And I love writing action. I love the imagery of it, you know, the blood dripped or flowed from his chest from the bullet wound, that kind of thing. You know, obviously I'd go a lot more in depth if I were sitting down writing that. But, you know, I love that stuff. But more than that, I love the psychological, why are they doing what they're doing? What in their past has driven them to this point that they're making this choice to shoot the bad guy, forgive the bad guy, love this person even though they've hurt them, you know, like, I love that stuff, and I love discussing that with people, you know. It's really just as much a passion of mine as it is to create that stuff, is to discuss it with people. Fictional story about steampunk cowboy taking on a ghost who happens to be his ex coming back for revenge. Okay. Okay. All right. Excuse me. I love steampunk. FYI, totally down for that. You guys are really into cowboys. I have nothing against cowboys, but you guys are really into cowboys. Okay, steampunk cowboy. I love the ghost thing. I actually have a short story planned with a ghost and a zombie. I'll get back to you guys on that one. So his ex dies. First of all, I'm curious how she died, and she wants revenge. So I'm assuming he killed her. He obviously hurt her in some way, possibly emotionally, and then she got smallpox or something, but I'd like to think he killed her, which also leads me to believe that she's a crazy, vindictive bitch. Let's see. Picture it as a mixture of Pirates of the Caribbean and Indiana Jones. Fan of both? Love that idea. Okay. Alright. So, let's see. Andrew. Cool. Hi, Andrew. Alright, so I would like to think that he kills her. Danny, please comment anytime to correct me if you so wish. So how does the steampunk cowboy take on the ghost? I'm curious. Like, what kind of, because I would have to think between the steampunk, like obviously you're delving a little bit more into the science side than you are like the magical side or whatever, but somehow he's going to have to figure out a device or something to make her vulnerable to pain, or to like re-kill her, or make her ghost die or vanish from him, somehow banish her. I'm still waiting on that Space Trucker story. I never said I was doing the Space Trucker story. I put the poll out there, and y'all chose the Dungeons and Dragons short story. So, magic versus science. Is that a suggestion for me, or is that something you want to do with this story? So, is it like she's part of a magical universe, and he's like the science side, and they go head to head, or vice versa? I'm curious about that one. That would be cool. The big thing, I think, with science versus magic, whenever anyone explores it, is one trying to disprove the other. Like, you know, like science says that there's no such thing as magic, but if you have a ghost literally right in front of you, that goes out the window. I'm not saying at that point science doesn't exist, but its argument kind of dies. An accident happens, and the ex dies and blames the cowboy for the death and wants revenge. Okay, so it's an accident. It's not his fault. That does make him more of a hero in my point of view than an anti-hero. Like, yes, he's the main character, but he did this super awful thing, and this is his story from that point on. Well, here he has a clean slate. Like, obviously, something about this accident went haywire, so her ghost believes it was his fault. But you said it's still an accident, so he didn't tie the horses up right to the buggy, and it went veering off of a cliff or something. So it is his fault, but he didn't do it intentionally and maliciously, is kind of what I'm picturing here. Again, your story. Stop me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of running thoughts through my head. You know, it's a video, so I've got to keep it rolling. Yeah, comment away on any more info you want to share. But yeah, so he does start with more of a clean slate in that scenario. He can be more of a hero than an anti-hero, and yeah, so she blames him and wants revenge. I'm curious what kind of revenge she thinks she's going to get. Is it just like haunting him for the rest of his life, and just driving him slowly insane until he commits suicide? Or can, in this universe, she can manipulate physical objects even though she's a ghost, so she can like stab him or something to that effect? Or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe she tricks him. Maybe if he's the science side and she's the magic side, she befriends him or like tries to make amends with him, so he creates a device that makes her be able to like physically control things, and then she uses it against him like she's been playing him this whole time. That would be cool, I think. That she manipulates him this whole time just for her revenge. Let's see. Inspiration for the hero: Jack Sparrow, Indiana Jones, Star-Lord, Villain, Maleficent, Captain Salazar, Fairy Godmother from Shrek. You've got a lot going on there. That's okay. Okay, so you've got 3 inspirations for the main character, and the villain has 3 too. Okay. Alright, so a Shrek 2 Fairy Godmother merged with Maleficent and Captain Salazar. Alrighty. So that's a good mental picture. It'd be cool to see sketches of how you picture these characters, I think. It'd be kind of awesome to sort of get a visual, especially with the steampunk. I love anything steampunk visually, pictures and drawings and stuff. That's awesome. I see a series with this character of the steampunk cowboy. I'm a world builder. Yes! You too! Cool! Awesome! I mean, like, obviously I'm super into character development, but world building is just, yes, I believe we talked about that in my last video. Yeah, like, I I like stories where they're super wrapped up into character development. I mean, that's really the heart of the story. But that's still goes along with my Nicholas Sparks versus fantasy argument, that Nicholas Sparks and writers like him are, you know, especially stuff that's just flat out written in present day, and there's no, you know, reality twist on that. It's just about the characters, which is great. You know, I do enjoy those reads. But then you compare it to Game of Thrones, for example, Harry Potter even. I would go so far as to say Twilight. That is modern day, but there is a reality twist there. Sparkling vampires being that one. Not gonna go there. I have a love-hate relationship with Twilight. Not gonna go there. Yeah, I love world building. And really fleshing that out. Anytime somebody talks about world building, Lord of the Rings will always get brought up. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a scenario where that wouldn't be mentioned. But yeah, so I'm right there with you on the world building. That's like one of my favorite things ever. Okay. Sorry, I have bad eyesight, so I have to. The comment section is over here. My face is this close to the screen. I'm sorry. Right. Like a series, kind of like Indiana Jones, where the story 1 could be about a ghost X, and story 2 could be like about a cowboy gets stuck in a haunted house for a night, and book 3 could be an adventure to Atlantis or something. Okay, so like an exploration. That is very Indiana Jones. Is he recovering treasure in Atlantis? I wonder. Okay, so the X is just the story arc for the first book, by the sound of it. I'm not saying you can't do it by any stretch of the imagination, but it would take a lot of extra work to make an entire book, like the entire sequel, about getting stuck in a haunted house for just one night. Having any story happen in just the span of one night or one day or whatever is just, you've got to flesh that out so much. I'm not saying I would never tackle it, but it's daunting to be sure. And you've got to be really, really positive about how much you love and can work with the concept. You got to be sure that you have struck gold with whatever you're working with there. Otherwise, it's either going to be a very short book or a very boring one. Yeah, so, right. And then Atlantis could be cool. Kind of trying to picture a cowboy going to Atlantis. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just kind of hard to picture that. But, you know, any good writer can take a concept that seems ridiculous and make it lovable, you know. So kudos to you for wanting to tackle that. You know, go right ahead. I will read the fuck out of that one. Let's see. I see lots of characters with the haunted house story. See, that's better. That's, yeah, again, like I said, you would really have to have a way to flesh that out, so you were going to want lots of character and lots of activity. So I don't know how you feel about the point of view thing. In my novels, most of the story is from the main character's point of view, but I do jump around, like if something important is going on with another character, the love interest, the best friend, whatever, you know, just jump to that for a scene or so. So if you're open to that, that really opens you up to this ghost is terrorizing these characters in this one room for a scene or two, and then you go down here to the basement and this stuff is creaking and they're having a panic attack because of that one, and then you go up to the attic and there's like a fucking zombie in there. I don't know, it's your story, but yeah, you definitely want something to fill that out. Third person. Okay. Yeah, that works. I like first person. It really puts me into their shoes, even just as a reader. I've always loved that. I've always preferred that. But third person does give you a lot more freedom. So that is a good idea, especially for that second book concept. I do agree. So, yeah, definitely on the same page with you there. Can't think of anything else. I told you guys what I wanted to tell you guys. I'm having a nice little discussion with Daniel over here. Anyone else, feel free to jump in. Other than that, unless you got more to say, Daniel, hurry up. I might call it a night. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for watching and supporting. It absolutely means the world to me. 100%. So yeah, thank you. Daniel's not commenting. So I suppose we shall pick this up another time. You all have a good night.